Ready Check Radio.
Stand by as we get ready to serve up all your news this week in the world of gaming. Welcome to Gaming Gumbo.
Why, hello, Internet! It's Saturday, it's 7 p.m. Eastern. That means here on Ready Check Radio, it's time for Gaming Gumbo, your weekly gaming wrap-up. In this case, your yearly gaming wrap-up, our last episode of the year as we head into the Christmas and New Year's holidays. We wish you very, very happy holidays. Yeah, enjoy the show. Oh, we dead? Oh, we are we dead?
Yeah. What?
Well,
What?
I don't know. Twitch chat saying we dead. Everything still shows live on my side. So, all
I'm
right.
watching it live.
Okay, all right. We're back. Okay. So Twitch might have blipped, but everything on our side is fine. We're doing the show live. I'm Mike Byrne, aka Magic Man. If you ever get a chance, we'd love to have you live in chat with us. Twitch.tv/ReadyCheckRadio. We'd love to have you here. So come on by and visit. If you're watching on YouTube, listening on Audible, iTunes, Spotify, any of that stuff, thank you so much. Give it a thumbs up, a like, a subscribe while you're there. Join me to finish off the year with episode 104. Mr. Dom Greco. What's up, sir?
Hello, how are you? A long time no see.
Well, apparently I did not have my mic on in that scene when I was showing the happy holidays. So
Gotcha.
So I'm going to go ahead and go to studio mode while you talk.
Oh, I'm going to talk.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah, you're going to
This is me talking.
And you're going to talk about all the good stuff that you're doing for the holidays.
All the good stuff
Well,
I'm doing for
I
the
add an audio input capture.
Okay. So you're going to narrate what you're doing to make it very difficult for me to talk. And they can't hear you.
Then I'm going to transition to that scene with my audio now working on that scene. And it's fantastic. Also on the line, Yod, resident artist of Ready Check Radio.
Completely cut
Yeah,
off.
What's up, Yod?
You tell him to talk. You talk over him. Then as he's finally talking, you cut him off.
It's a Christmas miracle.
And here I thought Dom was new.
We fixed the Happy Holidays slide. We did it. We did it. How are you, Yod? You getting ready for the holidays?
Yeah, more or less. I'm gonna keep working on pages and stuff for this webcomic because I want to build up a buffer for next year and stuff like that, and so I have time to do other things and not have to stop.
Nice. Any plans? Is it gonna just be you at home with the missus, or?
Yeah, just me at home with the missus. We still gotta watch our old man cat because he's still recovering a little bit.
Is he old man?
Stomach. Yeah, he's old man cat. He's our old man baby kitty, and yeah.
I do want to go back to Dom just for a second though.
Yes.
Hey Dom, go hide in your fireplace.
Okay, bye. I can't hear you anymore.
This is tremendous. And he's gone. He's hiding in a stocking. His head never disappeared. Where you were standing, your head never disappeared. It was just sticking out of a stocking.
It's great.
That's fantastic.
Oh, that's tremendous. Happy holidays,
I wish
guys.
I planned that one.
Yeah. Happy holidays, guys. I couldn't think of better people to do this with. Maybe Troy, but whatever. Troy gets this week off, so he gets the extended break. But
All right.
obviously, happy holidays. And thank you to everybody behind the scenes at Ready Check Radio. Much obliged. Nobody gets paid here, not even me. It's just something we do for fun. So much obliged. Thank you. Yeah, your head was an ornament on the fireplace. Definitely.
I'm so glad that the people listening on Spotify get to see all of that.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, it's a bit of a visual gag on that one, Spotify. iTunes. Sorry about that.
Once again, that means you gotta go to the YouTube
Right.
channel or ReadyCheckRadio.com.
Just go to readycheckradio.com. You're good.
It reminds me of, I think it was Bo Burnham's second comedy special where he did like all these visual puns like in jokes and stuff at the beginning of a show. And he goes, yeah, this makes real great for my audio CD coming out.
We'll figure out a way next year to just put audio only jokes in so that chat watching the show is
Right.
confused. But if you're listening to the show, you get it. That one's a little harder to pull off, I think. We'll find a way. Hey, speaking of hard things to pull off, it's really tough to launch a video game. Like, it really is, right? Like,
Don't say.
yeah, I mean, all the art and the sound and the writing and the coding and the testing, like, video games aren't easy. They aren't easy. Even like the most simple video game you can think of, there were challenges getting it to actually be a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, something that Fantastic figured out this past week.
You don't say.
Yeah, I do say. Thank you. So the day before, the zombie open world MMO game that we talked about last week, because it had finally made it to early access after being what many thought, including myself for a long time, was a scam. Now, not a scam in the normal terms, right? They didn't go to Kickstarter, raise a ton of money, and then disappear. Or
They didn't actually take your money.
yeah, they didn't actually take your money at all. A point that they kept revisiting when they were being called a scam. That we didn't take pre-orders, we didn't sell founders packs, we didn't take a dime from consumers. No, but what they did do was for over 5 years, allegedly, by them, develop, and then for over 2 years, market an open world MMO survival zombie game and market a few other side projects because it was the most wishlisted game on Steam for a while, so they had a large audience following them, so they took the opportunity to market some side small projects to them, some other little things on Steam, an app that did a bunch of communication, social networking stuff, but it wasn't a scam.
No.
And it got delayed a bunch of times. It finally came out. And within 48 hours, had over 15,000 Steam reviews with an overwhelmingly negative response because guess what? It wasn't an open world MMO survival zombie game.
That's crazy.
That's nuts.
Who saw that coming?
It was an instance-based extraction shooter and a very shitty one at that, and it was $40 to get into said early access. Yeah. I refunded that shit right away. I bought it to do a joke video on MMO Bomb about how bad it was because we were all sure it was going to be bad. It was just a question of degrees. And I was like, I can't take the chance of needing this software for more than 2 hours. I'm refunding it. And I did not do the video.
I mean, if you're looking for an instance-based extraction shooter, Hunt Showdown does it way better. So just play that.
The game name is The Day Before. And if you haven't followed it, I just gave you the end of the story. Over the last year and a half, they have had a reveal on IGN that when it was scheduled to be revealed for the first time, the stream went live. They were having tech issues playing a video, opening an MP4 on a stream. Here, I'm going to go to my B-roll shot here, and I'm going to cover this one for now.
Yes.
Look, I'm playing a video on a stream.
Really?
That's all it took.
Yeah.
But they couldn't do that, and so their IGN stream went on for 9 hours showing nothing before they finally shut it down and delayed the thing. Then they got delisted from Steam because there was a trademark dispute over the name The Day Before. And they said, hey, we own the trademark. But when you went and looked at the trademark papers for a game they had been working on for what they say was 5 years, They had just filed for the trademark like a month before, and somebody already had it. Now, that eventually got settled, and they were able to get back on Steam, but there were periods of time where they might have actually had to change their name and were filing other trademarks for other names. And then there was just bad marketing galore. They were putting out little trailers of people in a sauna, and we're like, it's a zombie apocalypse. Like, what the fuck are you doing in a sauna? Like, this is just...
What else do you do in a zombie
I
apocalypse?
mean, it was just a total mess from top to bottom.
I mean, the game lives up to its name. They do everything the day before.
Yeah.
File for trademark the day before.
Yeah.
Code everything the day before.
So it came out on Thursday of last week, and we briefly touched on it on last week's episode because of the launch and the reviews, and that's funny. Well, this week, just this week, on Monday, 4 days after the day before launched into what was supposed to be an estimated 6 to 8 month early access period, fantastic, effin-tastic, whatever they want to call themselves, they announced this Monday they're closing up shop.
But the servers will stay on.
Well,
Somehow.
so their initial announcement was, today we announced the closure of Fantastic Studio. Unfortunately, the day before has failed financially, and we lack the funds to continue. All income received is being used to pay off debts to our partners. I'm going to stop right there because, Dom, Steam pays out, for most accounts, on the 30th of the month. They went into early access on whatever, the 7th. So
Correct.
no matter how many sales they hadn't seen a dime of the Steam money yet. And that was the only platform you could buy the game on. So they hadn't seen any of that money yet. So to come out and say the day before has failed financially means we've seen the number of sales and it doesn't meet our projection. But that doesn't close a company in 4 days. I feel like the only reason the day before actually even made it to an early access is because they were like, well, we're going to close. Maybe let's truck this thing out. Enough people will be okay with it being early access and having bugs and this and this and this. And hopefully we'll make a little bit of money to survive and fix it and get to like, I feel like it was just like we might as well effort.
Yeah. It's just things like this is what ruins companies that are like even smaller for like early access stuff that want to like try to actually care about their game, build their game up, develop their game, and take like feedback. Like they want to do it the right way. They want to do it at, the best way that they can with every intention of releasing it. And then you get a company that comes like this and releases the game with no intention of following up on it. And it's just it leaves a sour taste in your mouth because it's like you don't want to start supporting games like this anymore.
Here's the thing, they knew too, right? The day it went into early access, they scrubbed a number of videos from their YouTube channel that showed off features they knew weren't in that game anymore, but they had previously advertised. Like they did not change their Steam description though. It still said open world survival MMO. That never went away, but they scrubbed a bunch of things along the way. They knew.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
If they did advertise it as a, extraction shooter type situation and not a open world MMO, would that have made a difference?
I think so. Would it have made a difference to the end net result of a bad game and the company closing? Probably not.
Would it have made a difference?
But I think it definitely would have made. Yeah, I think it definitely would have made a difference on the backlash review wise, and maybe more of an audience that's willing to take a flyer on where early access goes, because there is enough of an audience that just look at how many are being developed. There is an audience of people that like extraction shooters and zombie games and but when you add like here's my new action platformer and you open it up and it's a puzzle game. I'm getting a bad review immediately, right? Like, there is nothing I can do about that, no matter how good of a puzzle game it is.
Yeah, I can see that.
Reading the rest of their statement, we invested all of our efforts, resources, and man hours into the development of the day before, which was our first huge game. We really wanted to release new patches and reveal the full potential of the game, but unfortunately, we don't have the funding to continue the work. It's important to note, this is something they said before launch, and now they're saying it when their company closes. It's important to note that we didn't take any money from the public during the development of the day before. There were no pre-orders or crowdfunding campaigns. We worked tirelessly for 5 years, pouring our blood, sweat, and tears into the game. At the moment, the future of the day before and Prop Night, one of their other small titles, is unknown, but the servers will remain operational. We apologize if we didn't meet your expectations. We did everything within our power, but unfortunately, we miscalculated our capabilities. Creating games is an incredibly challenging endeavor. We're grateful to everyone who supported us during these difficult years. It's been a fantastic journey over the past 8 years. And then they go ahead and do a little timeline for themselves, which I'm not going to read here. But it's talk about just like self-serving. Like, and at any point during development, Dom, I think if they would have, to Yod's kind of point, if they would have come forward and said, you know what, this was initially going to be X, and now we're remarking where our skills and refocusing and saying, hey, you know what, it's probably just going to be an extraction shooter now. I still, again, you can refocus like that. Companies do it all the time.
I would have more respect for that.
Overwatch famously is what's left over from an MMORPG that was in development, Titan.
Yeah.
You know, that
Project
happens.
Titan. Yep.
Look at Skull and Bones.
Oh, we will.
But how did they phrase it? Shit happens.
That was the best part. Yeah, because obviously there was a backlash to this, right? And they said, hey, we don't know what's going to happen, but the servers will remain operational. I had to update my piece on this 8 different times throughout Monday because Steam said, the fuck it will. And immediately, within 2 hours of them announcing that, they had cut off the ability to buy the game. You could not buy it. Mytona, the publisher, who I did reach out to on behalf of MMO Bomb, right, trying to get a comment from them, they ended up working out something with Steam where, okay, it doesn't matter. If you had the game for over 2 hours and you want a refund, you're going to get a refund. So literally, they will see 0 from this game. Like, they will net almost a 0. The best parts were everything that happened after that announcement. DayZ immediately put up a tweet in the exact, because it was, you know, Fantastic's thing was just a white text or white page with black text on it. In the exact same format, DayZ put up a white block of black text that just said, today we want to primarily celebrate, for no reason at all, the remarkable 10th anniversary of DayZ. It is with immense gratitude we commemorate a decade of passion, creativity, and the unwavering support of our incredible community. In this milestone moment, we are delighted to announce the thriving success of DayZ, our groundbreaking MMO experience that has captivated audiences worldwide. This open-world survival masterpiece, enriched with years of dedication, has truly flourished into a gaming marvel, etc., etc., etc. And then Rust decided, hey, we're going to get in on that action. And all they did was they took DayZ's post and scratched out DayZ on all of the paragraphs and in red font put Rust.
No, red handwritten font.
Yeah, it was very MS Paint. I mean,
Oh my god.
it was absolutely fantastic between them. Then the CEO of Fantastic, remember this name. It'll go down with names, or it should go down with names like Sergei Titov, right? If you remember Sergei Titov, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and World War Z and all the, you know, all that fun stuff. Eduard Gotovtsev. Gotovtsev. Disappeared from Twitter and LinkedIn. The Fantastic YouTube channel now has 0 public videos on it. We actually went, I went from MMO Bomb and archived all the Mytona pages that had day before on it on Wayback Machine because who knows how long they were going to be up. And then Mytona announced we're working with Steam to get refunds. Fantastic, saying we're not going to receive anything from this. The Wild 8, which is a game that was developed by Fantastic, but then sold off to another company called Hype Train. Now, they still had Fantastic listed as the developer on Steam, and some people thought this was like Fantastic trying to be sneaky. This had nothing to do with Fantastic. Hype Train, the publisher of the Wild 8, removed Fantastic from the developer flag on Steam and put the old name of the development team up on their 8 points. That's what Fantastic was before it became Fantastic. Only because the Wild 8 was getting caught in the crossfire, the backlash, and anything that had Fantastic's name tied to it was getting review bombed to hell and back. So they tried to protect their asset as much as possible. And then, yes, Fantastic kept replying to people on Twitter with such gems as Kuiper Shot saying, unbelievable that you guys hype this game up so much and this is the end result. You are an absolute disgrace to the video game industry. To which Fantastic literally replied on Twitter, and I post these in my article in screenshots, not Twitter embeds, because they are likely to disappear at some point. Fantastic replied, "This was our first big experience. Shit happens."
I mean, they're not wrong. They're not wrong in that fact. You first step into the pool, sometimes shit happens. But I mean, yeah, that's yeah. Oh my god. Wow.
I hate to be the person in charge of their social media.
Can't be any worse than Bungie's.
Oh yeah, and there was the big the Discord was like burning down, obviously, to the point that even the moderators who were volunteer turned on them as well too. The day before, 24 hours after this all went down on Monday, we already had reports, some coming from like DualShockers, that staffers were already talking, right? Obviously they were going to.
Right.
And they were saying, this was never an MMO project. Like a former member of the team told DualShockers, I never saw it as an MMO project. No one from our team knows why they called it an MMO. It was always a third-person shooter with a few co-op mechanics. Not one RPG mechanic was implemented. Skills were an idea, and they were in a prototype stage, but nothing more. From the beginning, the idea was that servers would be under 100 people. That's not an MMO. No clans, no raids, no closed hubs. It's been that way for over 2 years. And every time they would make recommendations to the 2 or 3 people at the top of the tree, they would get shot down. But the development team, Dom, looked at this as a mix of Rust, DayZ, and Escape from Tarkov, which is what it was, a really shitty one. There's also accusations of asset flipping. I don't really have a problem with game developers, even big ones, using buyable assets from like the Unity store or the Unreal Engine store or anything. I mean, that's what they're for, right? Why do I have to build a tire for my car when I can just go buy a tire for my car type deal and focus on the paint job that I want to put on my specific car? But when you're touting this huge big thing and everything seems to be, or a large percentage are assets, then what were you really doing for 5 years? What was the time saved by buying assets used for? You don't see that plus sides. Just an absolute cluster. Absolute cluster.
Yeah. And there was another game this year. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but it was another one that they had assets that were taken from the Unity store, I believe. It was like a dungeon game. It was skeletons and something. Why can't I remember the name of it? It's going to bother me. It was kind of like Hunt Showdown, but in like a Dungeons and Dragons setting. Dark and Darker. There it is. Thank you, Omi. Yeah, like another game got hit with this assets thing, and it's just like this is actually very common. It's like like TV shows, movies, they use the same thing. How many times have you heard those the little kids laughing sound that's in like 300 different things, and it's like I get sick of it when I hear that sound. I'm like, it's common in every form of social media entertainment. So I don't know. I don't pay much. I don't want to say I don't pay much attention to it, but I don't think negatively on it. You know, it's what games do.
What a mess, Yod. What a mess.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like Havoc saying here with Shutterstock photos, if you're gonna use the stock stuff, I have no problem with using the stock stuff. If you gotta use the stock stuff, use the stock stuff. But if you're selling it, I almost want to say you'll modify it slightly so it's not blaringly obvious it's that asset.
Yeah, see, I'm of the mind when it comes to like video game development in particular, right? Like if you want to buy some skyscrapers and some buildings and some houses from the Unreal Engine store and put them in your game, fine. But the reason that you would do that is either one of two things. One, these assets work for what you want to do, and they're going to save you time so that you can go do something else.
Right.
I don't have the time as a game developer of just the three of us. We don't have the time to make these buildings to the scale we want to make these numbers of buildings. So why don't we just pay $3,000, get as many of these buildings as we want, because now we can spend our time in the fighting mechanics of our game or whatever the case.
I can totally get that.
The secondary reason is the reason I pay Yod for assets. I can't create the art that I have up here in my head for the overlays that you see or the different little clip movies and stuff that we use on this channel, right? I got these ideas up here, but I can't draw and I can't use Adobe to the degree that an artist can, like Yod. And so I commission him to do that. And while he does that in the background, I'm taking his finished product and editing it together into video form, getting the music and doing all the other stuff that I can do. Which one was it here? Did they just not have a team that could make assets, or were they trying to buy the assets to free up time to do other things that the team was good at? And it seems at the end of the day, it was neither. It was like... Oof.
And that's when you run into the problem of using pre-made assets, though. It's if it's blaringly obvious that you got, that Shutterstock image of Semi-Lu being a computer dude, and you're using it, I don't know. Part of it rubs me oddly. Another part's like, well, yeah, you paid for the asset. You might as well use the asset, but don't be so obvious about it.
The last thing I want to say on this is that I liked my headline when this all went down. My headline was "Totally not a scam game the day before sees developer fantastic closing up shop the week after."
That's a lot of after.
The day before and the week after.
But I don't know, because like going with the Shutterstock images, like especially like I know the TV show Dexter and its final season that nobody even likes. They used video of a hurricane warning thing that you can find on Shutterstock.
Yeah.
In its completed form, like not modified at all. So it's like even big productions use them. So I don't think too much about it.
Yeah, Baron, you're exactly right, Baron. Baron kind of finishing off my point there that you would typically buy these for one of two reasons. I don't see either of those reasons in play here. Baron says they bought the assets to rush it out the door to show that they actually did something when they didn't. And that's the impression that I get too, Baron.
Yeah, I guess.
Because they had to get something out of the door to at least take a shot.
Spend some money to try to make some money. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of things that were raised from the dead and dragged around like they were alive for a little while and now are officially dead, E3 is no longer a thing officially.
Bittersweet.
Yeah, it is bittersweet, right?
It is.
Like we've been talking about on this show, like the relevancy of E3 for years. I mean, we were debating it back on Game Breaker, but more so now. The ESA announcing after more than 2 decades of E3, each one bigger than the last. That's not entirely true. The time has come to say goodbye. Thanks for the memories. Havoc wants a moment of silence for the E3.
Okay, that's enough.
Okay. I mean, we all knew this was coming. Honestly, it probably should have happened prior to COVID. Post-COVID, it definitely should have happened.
Yes.
But it is still, to your point, Dom, a little sad to see it actually here.
It is. I remember like the weird, like when I was younger, I was a little too young to understand what E3 was, and like I just knew like summer was when game things got announced, and it's like, okay, cool. And then figuring out what E3 is and all that. But now we've shifted into this age where it's pretty easy to get video content out to the public
Yeah.
with the existence of Twitch and YouTube and stuff like that. But the entire reason for E3 existing, because it was difficult to do that and to bring the industry together under one roof made sense. And it worked for the time period it's in. And I'm gonna say this is like a blockbuster video type case where they just did not adapt to the formats and everything with the times, and I'd say it's their own fault.
Yeah, well, and you know what? Stanley Pierre-Louis, the CEO of the ESA, wouldn't disagree with you. In an interview the next day with VentureBeat, he said, yeah, where's the one I wanted? Was it hard?
It was a long interview.
Yeah, but there was really only two questions that were vital to what we were talking about. Favorite memory, I don't care. Favorite memories, don't care.
Yeah, I couldn't get through the whole thing, even having it read to me. I have that thing
Text to
set up
voice.
on Chrome. Yeah, it just reads stuff to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It's
like,
very nice.
yeah, but it was just so freaking long. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh God, I don't know where the hell it is.
Is it? Do you think this is a case of companies focusing on their own interests as opposed to the industry, maybe not having as much to say or show next year? Is it that one?
I don't know. I can't find it. I'm scrolling through it hard, gang. Like my scroll is on here.
I think E3 was a good thing for if it was used for like actual developers and the people that don't get a chance to leave the office because they're working on stuff, to have a day where they all get to be able to get together and do something else. It would have been a nice event for that if it was company only like it was when it started. It might have been able to keep on going that way. Because going to a lot of conventions and stuff like that, and I mean, Dom, you've been to quite a few. You get the feeling that a lot of these guests and stuff like that, and having been a guest a few times, you don't get to interact with other people in your field because you're too busy doing the stuff.
There we go.
And
Yeah.
it is nice to have a weekend or whatever to share war stories and commiserate the people that you've lost, or hey, maybe there's new opportunities you can get or whatever. So if they geared themselves towards something like that, I think they could have probably kept going in a low key
Well,
capacity.
that's a point that you made, that it was like, okay, you need to shift to the togetherness of being
Right.
there for that experience, not
Right.
the big reveals. And Pierre Louis says that. He says video game companies have new and exciting ways to reach people. They can do it on a timetable that meets their business needs. This doesn't take away from the need to bring people together. We'll think about exploring ways to bring everyone together to tell a story about the industry. I don't know what form that will take. We're spending time thinking through what the narrative is because there's a nice moment for the industry to reshape and refashion how the public thinks about games, but it's early thinking. There are exciting opportunities for our industry. When you look at the marketing and business needs, our companies have shown that there are many outlets they can explore and exploit for the benefit of things. So yeah, I mean, everything we've been saying, like the companies don't need that outlet anymore. They just don't.
Right.
And one of the better things that I said on yesterday's podcast, Dom, is here's a sentence that you'll never, ever hear again. Man, G4 is going to be dope this week with E3.
Yeah. I don't know, like as somebody like Yad said, as somebody who's been to a bunch of conventions and stuff like that, for me, the announcements and all the stuff there while I'm there is not the exciting part for me. I don't care about any of that stuff.
That's only exciting to us at home.
Exactly. Like when I go to like BlizzCon, which I haven't gone to in a number of years now, but like when I go to BlizzCon, for example, I will go to the opening ceremony. I will watch that because there's something really cool about that big reveal in the first like hour of the thing. But as soon as that's over, I don't go to any panels. None. Zero, zip, zilch, nada. I rather walk around, go look at the different booths, the merch,
Yeah.
interact with the people that I don't get to see all the time. Maybe go talk to some game developers or some of artists or, different people in the industry and the company and stuff like that. That, to me, that's what going to the conventions is all about. Or
Right.
maybe playing the game, if there's a game to play there. But that's not what it turned into. E3 was just announcement after announcement after announcement after. I could sit at home and do that and wait for somebody else to tell me what's interesting to look at because I don't want to sit there for 6 hours, going through the things that I think I might, and hoping that there's something I'm going to enjoy. So It's just the industry has shifted and we are in the now kind of thing. That's why like short form video like TikToks are way more interesting than 30-minute YouTube videos these days. But it's just you got to shift with the times.
Skull and Bones is in a closed beta right now for a few days, just a few days, as it heads to launch early next year. And we're already seeing some initial impressions from people. There's some YouTube videos, there's some things on Reddit. Obviously, if you go to the Skull and Bones Twitter and you just look at the things they're retweeting, it must be a fantastic game based on the selections there. But if you actually look at the broader picture, there's kind of a split on this one. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised. Like, I expected likely a full-on train wreck. Nothing near the day before, but and I'm kind of, well, maybe. Like, there seem to be people that are saying, hey, man, the ship-to-ship combat is actually pretty neat. They got that right. The environments look kind of janky, though, and there's just a lot of fetch questing going on, and that's kind of boring. Obviously, we knew there was no, like, hand-to-hand combat when you're off of your ship. People are bringing that up again as something they feel is sorely missing from the game. But we knew at least in advance that wasn't going to be a thing. So there seems to be a little bit of divisive going on here with some people really enjoying it and some people not. So we're going to, I guess, have to hold until it comes out to get a full picture on this, because there is one big caveat that I don't understand, except for maybe nefarious reasons that I could ascribe but have no idea if these are true or not, is that you only can play this beta for 6 hours. Even though it's a multi-day beta, if you get in and download it right now and you start playing, 6 hours and you're done. Which means we are seeing things on Reddit like some of the open world events and things like that can't even realistically be done because or at least attempted in a meaningful way besides getting demolished, because you can't get to an appropriate level to take on the first couple of those in that 6 hour gap. Very, very weird, the time limit on a closed beta. Like, the closed beta is already a time limit. Like,
Right.
Why this sub-time limit unless there's a concern about people getting too far into certain things prior to actually having to pay for the product? That's just me speculating. I don't have any reason to believe that's exactly why Ubisoft is doing this. Maybe there's another reason, but I've been in the industry long enough that this is weird. This is weird.
It is.
Maybe after 6 hours, you get really bored.
People are getting bored at 4 because a lot of it's fetch quests.
Yeah.
A lot of it is fetch quests.
The other thing, I mean, for it to be not nefarious, maybe they have a server issue where they thought a whole lot of people would log on at the same time.
It's a closed beta. They have control over the population inbound.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pick at the other side here.
They have absolute control over the inbound population.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, maybe that's a problem.
Like, one of the complaints I saw on Reddit was they said 6 hours is not enough. Time to get geared up for the world event cosmetic. I was level 6 and I had 4 level 4s, and we still couldn't out DPS the healing on a colonial fleet.
Oof.
That's to get your world event cosmetic.
Right, which apparently is I saw one that said it's at least a level 13 event.
Yeah, you ain't getting there in 6 hours.
No, you ain't getting there in 6 hours. The other thing is, could happen like on the other side of the world from you, and you just can't get there in time.
Yeah, it takes 6.5 hours to get. No, I don't. I don't know. So, I mean, we're gonna have to watch it still. Hey,
Right.
Game Rant posted their kind of their top 10 biggest video game stories of the year. So let me see if you agree with some of these, or if there's anything you see missing. 2023 has been an incredible year for gaming, but a terrible year for devs. I think we would all agree on that.
Yep.
It's been an absolutely awful year for developers in the industry. Honestly, I totally forgot this happened, so I don't know if it would have made my list. But it's probably because I very seldom used the online services for these anyway, even when I am messing around with my 3DS. 3DS and Wii U online services shut down coming up. Totally forgot about that. But
Yeah, I
again,
didn't know people still had Wii U's.
I do.
Baldur's Gate 3 takes the industry by storm. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Charles Martinet steps away from Mario.
Very sad days.
Very sad, but I don't know if it's one of the biggest stories in gaming, right?
It's good to acknowledge it.
See. I would
really,
say
I don't know, because when Kiefer Sutherland stepped in and was given the job to play Snake, David Hayter not playing Snake was not one of the top 10 video game stories that year.
But Mario is way more iconic than Solid Snake.
Right.
He
And
also
it's
barely
been-
says anything.
It's also a longer period of time.
Don't get me
than
wrong.
he's been Mario.
I'm sad Charles
me.
isn't doing it anymore. And I've met Charles, and he was fantastically nice to my kids.
He's such a great guy.
But
He
I'm
has
just
so
saying,
much energy.
I don't know if it
how
should
someone.
be top
I don't know
10.
how someone that age has that much energy. I don't.
Microsoft completes its acquisition of Activision Blizzard King. Yeah, no doubt. The biggest acquisition in gaming history. Yes, it's going to be one of the biggest stories. Google Stadia officially shuts down. Maybe it was a big story to the 14 people on it.
I mean, I think the only reason it was a big story, right, is because it was game streaming.
Right.
That itself was the story.
No, it's
Right,
Google
it was-
leaving another product in the dust. I mean, come on.
I mean, yeah, that's not news, but it's the grand experiment that it was.
You mean you're not using Google Glass?
I'm not. Grand Theft Auto 6 finally gets his first trailer. I think, yeah, you kind of have to put that up there just by default. I'm showing it here, which I'm sure will get my damn show claimed. Sony CEO Jim Ryan stepping down. I think that's a big one, too. And then they finish up with Trouble at Embracer Group, and the KOTOR remake is left in disarray. Okay, yeah, the KOTOR remake, sure, worth a mention there. I'm not sure whether it's part of the headline or not, but the Trouble at Embracer Group, I think, is definitely a top 10 gaming story. That is just like imploding all over the place. And they expanded and bought so fast that it's now, they're part of the reason that it's terrible to be a dev right now.
Yeah. Well, what about the number one story?
Yeah.
The Unity policy change?
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly, a big
That
story.
was a disaster.
It was an absolute
Yeah.
disaster. Yeah.
That was more of a fire than Bungie on social media.
Here's the 20 best video games
everything.
according to Rolling Stone of the year. Hi-Fi Rush. Yeah, I think that's
Yep.
up there.
Okay. Yeah.
Thirsty Suitors. Never played it.
Never heard of it.
Super Mario RPG. I don't know, man. It's a remake of a game, and it literally came out right before the year ended.
Game of the year.
Yep.
Dead Space remake. Yeah, I can see that. Like a Dragon, Ishin. Okay. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Ooh, I don't know. Lies
Was
of
that
P.
this year? Or was it last
That was
year?
this year.
That was
No,
this year.
Okay.
Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. I still haven't played yet, but I want to. Venba. Never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Mortal Kombat 1 coming in at number 11. That's atrocious.
How many times can we go back? Like, don't get me wrong. I love Mortal Kombat. How
Yeah.
many times can we go back to 1? right? We had Mortal Kombat 1, then we did the trilogy, then we did what was it, Mortal Kombat 9 that time traveled back to Mortal Kombat 1, and now we have Mortal Kombat 1 that is alternate universe, parallel worlds. Yeah.
I don't think Jedi. I agree. I don't think Jedi Survival should be in the list at all. I don't think Mortal Kombat should be in the list at all. I think the rest maybe. Well, besides, I can't comment on the one or two that I don't know about at all. We'll just assume that they belong there. So maybe I argue order, but there's 2 games, and we're just through 10 of the top 20 that I don't think should be on the list at all. Diablo 4, it's hard to argue because of the sales success that it was, even if it isn't everybody's favorite game late in the year with some of the season shenanigans that hopefully will start to get rectified.
It doesn't belong a number 10 spot, but it belongs on this list.
Number 9, Resident Evil 4 Remake. Number 8, Sea of Stars. Sea of Stars is a great game.
Yeah, I could see that.
I still haven't beaten it. Marvel Spider-Man 2. I'm not surprised. Street Fighter 6, not surprised. That's really well received. Super Mario Wonder, not surprised. Number 4, Final Fantasy 16. Number 3, Alan Wake 2. Number 2, Baldur's Gate 3. Rolling Stone gave the game of the year to Dom, already shaking his head. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Dom not having it.
I'm not saying a word.
Camera's on you, brother. It's all you. Rolling Stone just announced the Legend of Zelda number 1 game of the year.
It's Breath of the Wild. It's the same game.
No, it's not. It's Tears of the Kingdom.
It's the same game. I don't care.
No, they gave the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom number 1, Dom. Maybe you didn't hear me, or I didn't give the whole title.
No, Tears of Me, because I'm crying at how much it's Breath of the Wild.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Is it Tears? Is it Tears? I don't know. Tears would make more sense.
It's Tears.
Yeah, I know, because I'm crying about it still.
I believe it's pronounced Touche.
Oh, yeah.
Tears of the Dom. That's what it is, Havoc says.
It is. I haven't played it, but I'm sure it's a great game. But it's not a good Zelda game, and I don't care what you say. It's not a Zelda game at all. You can throw Link in it all you want. It's not a Zelda game.
You can vote for your Steam Game of the Year and other 2023 Steam Awards. Now all the voting for nominees is done. Everybody voted on those. So now here are your choices for Game of the Year. Lethal Company, Hogwarts Legacy, Resident Evil 4, Baldur's Gate 3, and FC24. Okay.
I'm voting FC24 right now.
That's your prediction, FC?
No, it's not my prediction. I just don't want any of the others.
Let me get an Excel sheet up here.
Let me get
it. This will be Yod, Dom, Mike, and chat. I mean, really, is anybody picking anything besides Baldur's Gate 3 for Game of the Year here?
Yeah, Baldur's Gate's here. Come on now.
I haven't played it yet, but I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it probably next week or this week. I don't know.
No, come on, Excel. I just tried to drag that over. I wasn't paying attention, and it was like BG3, 4, 5, 6. I'm like, no.
It gets all the awards.
I feel like we already did this Game of the Year stuff. Why you got to jump in on it, Steam?
Because they steaming it up. Hold on. What?
I mean,
there we go.
You know,
so that's Game of the Year. Okay, good. Then we got VR Game of the Year.
Okay.
Your nominees are I Expect You to Die 3, Gorilla Tag, Ghosts of Tabor, FI, or Formula 1, 23, and Labyrinthine. I'm going to go with Labyrinthine.
That's what I was going to say, just based on the images, because I know nothing about it.
Same. It's like they don't have Resident Evil Village.
they don't have the new Five Nights at Freddy's game on here, so I'm already calling rigged.
Chat, what do you got for me on that one? Gorilla Tag, never played it, but your son loves it. All right, we'll let everybody chime in here.
Don will buy it and look at it for the next 3 years. Yeah, probably. I just bought a VR headset, so I'll just
somebody that gets motion sick. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'll just look at this for the next 2-3 years and not play it.
Labor of Love Award: Apex Legends, Red Dead Redemption 2, Dota 2, Rust, or Deep Rock Galactic. This category, by the way, is the game has been out for a while, well past the debut of being like their creative baby, but good parents, they're continuing to nurture and support it. That's why you're seeing older titles here. Apex, Red Dead Redemption, Dota 2, Rust, Deep Rock. What do you got, Yod?
Dota 2.
Dota 2? Yod?
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm sorry, Dom?
Oh, this one's difficult. I'll go with.
Do you need me to buy you some time?
No. We'll go with Apex.
Apex. I'm going to go with Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption 2. Chat. Red Dead. Deep Rock, maybe, from Omikins. I didn't really like Deep Rock Galactic from Metallica. All right, so we're going to go Red Dead Redemption 2 / we'll give chat the Shirak saying Rust. Rust. We can give them all of them, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't lose if you choose.
Can't lose. Best game on Steam Deck award. The one I think should be here isn't even here. Dredge, Hogwarts Legacy, The Outlast Trials, Diablo 4, or Brotato. I really think Hades should be on this list.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I'll go with Hogwarts.
Dredge was damn good though. I'm gonna go Dredge.
I'm gonna go with Brotato.
You go Brotato.
Brotato.
Fantastic.
Because it's Brotato.
Mario Brothers 1. No, wait. Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Chat going with me on Dredge. Okay. Dom, what did you want for that one?
I said Hogwarts just because of the popularity of Harry Potter.
You got it. Next up, the Better with Friends Award.
Not the multiplayer award. Okay, got it.
No. Do you like that they differentiated it with just better?
Kind of. It has different meaning to me, yeah.
Lethal Company, Sunken Land, Warhammer 40k Darktide, Party Animals, Sons of the Forest. I know where Dom's going, and I think I'm actually going with you on this one.
Really? Because I'm not going where you think I'm going.
I'm going Party Animals.
Yeah, I'm not going where you think I'm going.
That's where I was going.
That's where you... Okay.
Yod, is that where you want to go?
Yeah, I want to go Party Animals.
Go ahead,
so on a personal level, I would pick Party Animals, but just because I've seen the sensation that Lethal Company has been on Twitch, I'm going with that as my prediction, not as what I personally would pick.
Gotcha. Darktide is good, but it wasn't initially, and I think that's where it's going to suffer, chat. Metallica and Baron saying Warhammer Darktide is great. It is. Shirak saying Darktide too, so I guess that's going to be chat's.
Okay.
I think it not being great at launch, because it really did not. It needed those first like 3 or 4 patches. They should have had an early access or something. It needed those first 3 or 4 patches where they, fixed loot and inventory and some balancing stuff and changed the way certain things worked. Because it was yucky live servicey to start with. And then community feedback forced them to make some better decisions. Outstanding visual style. This is Cocoon, Darkest Dungeon 2, Atomic Heart, High on Life, and Inward. I like Darkest Dungeon 2, but as far as visual style, like, I just feel like more people are gonna vote for like something artistic here.
Inward.
Yeah,
Inward.
I think Inward or Cocoon.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Cocoon.
I'm gonna go with Inward.
Yod?
Yeah, we'll go Inward.
I
would love Darkest Dungeon 2 to win this, though.
I would as well. I love their art style so much.
Chat right now is...
don't think it's what people want.
leaning towards Darkest Dungeon 2. Hey, man, if it gets it, I'll be very happy.
I would too. I'd be ecstatic.
It does have a great art style, and it is outstanding visually, but it looks like a, medieval fantasy game. It's not, and so I think that might actually hurt it. Most innovative gameplay. I don't understand this category. Maybe you'll see why when I read the nominees. Most innovative gameplay award. Go ahead.
I was just saying, can I comment on the poster for Shadows of Doubt? Looks very much like the DLC for Five Nights at Freddy's that just came out. Like it's like they ripped the style off entirely.
I can see that.
I'm gonna just post it in the general chat in Discord real quick.
Most innovative gameplay award: Shadows of Doubt, Your Only Move is Hustle, Contraband Police, Remnant 2, and Starfield. Not that Remnant 2 is not a very good game. Not that Starfield is not an enjoyable game. But please tell me what either two of those games do even remotely innovative.
Obviously, you're not playing Starfield correctly if you don't think it's innovative. Sorry, I had to throw that one in there.
I don't really know I know what some of these games are, but I don't know. I haven't played them. I haven't followed them enough to know what is innovative about them.
Honestly, I feel like Remnant or Starfield is going to win just because of a popularity contest at this point.
That's exactly what I'm sitting at.
Not that they're not good games, but they don't do anything super innovative. Like I don't get it.
Yeah, no, Contraband is the Border Patrol one. I want to say Remnant. I'm going with Starfield.
I'm gonna go Remnant. Just because I don't want Starfield to win.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't really want it to win
chat
either.
I was leaning more towards Remnant too.
Okay.
Havoc said Remnant 2. Yeah, we'll give it to Remnant 2.
Okay.
Oh God, I'm gonna go Starfield just because I know I can't do it. It shouldn't even be there.
Right?
I'm gonna go Shadows of Doubt. There's no way it's winning, but it would be tremendous if it did. We're going to do one more. There's actually 11 categories, but we're not going to do them all. Best game you suck at. Overwatch 2, Call of the Hunt Season 8, Lords of the Fallen, Sifu, FC24, Street Fighter 6. I'm going Street Fighter 6.
Going
Sifu.
Lords of the Fallen.
I'm going Sifu.
Ooh. Sifu's a good game.
You literally have to die to get better.
Oh, so like Hades. Got it.
And then chat, what do you got here? Street Fighter 6 too. All right. 6 as well. All right, let's save these. We'll bring them back at the beginning of the year because these aren't decided until the January anyway.
How many do we have? We have 11 categories?
That's how many there are total. Yeah.
Okay.
We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. Yeah. Okay. That's that. California and Activision have reached a settlement on the discrimination allegations the state was alleging against Activision Blizzard. That settlement was buried Friday night, last night. It was like the last thing to come out after all kinds of other news came out. Like, yeah, and Kotaku really made their headline clickbaity for this one, by the way. Boy, does Activision know how to bury a lead, bury a story on a Friday night. The settlement is for about $54 million. $45 million of that will be put into a fund where if you were female and you worked between this date and this date, you can check out the full settlement. I actually wrote it up on MMO Bomb if you need it. You can file. You don't have to do anything yet. This still has to be approved by the courts. There are some additional criteria, too, that Activision Blizzard still has to keep doing. It's different programs that it's put in since 2021. They also have to get an independent third party to help them review their outreach and hiring practices for underrepresented groups. So all good things to be sure, no doubt. But did you know Riot Games, who had to settle with the same state, California, for very similar discrimination discrimination charges, they had to pay $100 million in their settlement.
Of course.
Yeah, Activision Blizzard got hit with 54. And it just, if you needed some frame of reference to how little that $54 million will even be noticed on their P&L, Warzone makes approximately $5 million a day.
Yep.
So it's a slap on a wrist in the vein of like a slap bracelet, right? Like it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Like, and after it's on there, you forget it's on there.
It's just a little annoying for a second.
It's really awful. Like, obviously, there being a settlement at all is a good thing. I don't want to, and this money will do good in certain pockets and for certain individuals. I don't want to take that away at all. It does. But this isn't even remotely like something Activision Blizzard's going to notice. It will take them 10 days of just Warzone to make that money back. Just Warzone. Forget every other game. Bobby Kotick supposed to leave at the end of the year.
Supposed to.
Yeah. We're going to slide over and do the games of the week in a moment here, but I know, Dom, you brought up at the tail end of last week's show the whole incident going on that was still unfolding with the Completionist and his open hand charity for dementia research in the spirit of his deceased mother, and some accusations because they hadn't done anything with the money. Like they just kept sitting there in a bank account year after year after year after year. And some YouTubers, Carl Jobst and some ordinary gamer, did some videos about it and saying, hey, this money is still there. They talked to the Completionist about it. And finally, a few weeks later, as we were doing the show last week, the Completionist put up a reply video. Well, Carl and Ordinary Gamer have already put up their reply videos to it. What do you want to talk about?
It's a lot. Like, he's being accused of charity fraud, and I don't necessarily think it's incorrect. It's just such a difficult topic, because it's like, yes, the money should have been donated. He should have been honest. He should have been upfront with everyone. There's no denying that. There's like no one is against that statement right there. The money has gone now where it needs to go. And I think it was $600,000 was donated on top of an extra $200,000 from another group that threw some money in. But there is a lot of discrepancy with the way he handled it, saying all of the money that was going from his Twitch streams and his bits and all this stuff was going directly to charity. They were not taking any of the money. But then it turns out that they were using that money to pay for the fundraising, which is not abnormal for charities to do. But it's the delivery of the statements that were made that is the differentiator here. So it's difficult because it's like, yes, I enjoy and appreciate Gerard as a content creator. I respect him for a lot of the stuff he's done for the gaming industry. But this is a mess. This is an absolute mess. He's being accused of like using his dead mother as a shield to like get away with all this stuff. I don't think, at least from what I've heard personally from him, I don't think that he's ever tried to use it necessarily for like sympathy purposes, but more as like showing that he has a personal connection to this charity. It's not like he was pocketing the money and like embezzling the money for his own personal uses. Like, he's not turning around and buying, stuff for his channel, like games or anything for it. He's using it to fund the charity that's literally collecting money that was planned on being donated. One of the reasons he claimed for holding on to this money was because they wanted to make a big one lump sum. I believe it's called a restricted donation, where you get away with not having a lot of the taxable fees or whatever, like the
it's
processing fees.
he wanted more. This is what he alleges, right? That the organization wanted to do a restricted donation. So like you can go to the Alzheimer Foundation and Yod can go on their website and make a $10 donation right now. And they certainly could have done that with a dementia research place. But your donation of $10, Yod, is an unrestricted donation. They can use that money for whatever the hell they need to use that money for, up to and including processing the fees of donations or paying the salary of some of their employees or paying administrative costs to run a charity. Your $10 might not go towards Alzheimer's research at all. It might go to the salary of somebody that works for the organization. Where if you have larger sums of money, and it doesn't have to be extraordinarily large, like hundreds of thousands of dollars. You could do this with as little as $10,000 or $20,000. A lot of charities will let you do this. Well, you can do a restricted donation where
But you have to make sure you tell them it's a restricted.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you have to come to the arrangements. Hey, Yod, I'm going to give your charity $600,000, but we're going to draw up a contract that for you to get this $600,000, this is going to be restricted. This $600,000 is earmarked specifically for scientific research.
Right.
You cannot use this to pay the admins or do this or do that or do this. So you can do that. That's what he alleges was the holdup, why they waited. The problem with that becomes that's not what he advertised.
Right.
That's not what he said on his streams, where all these things seem very past tense. And in fact, in some cases, past tenses are actually used, referring to your organization as being one of the biggest contributors to the University of San Francisco, when in fact, you haven't donated anything. Like that is a problem for you to have said that at that point. It's misleading at best. It's misleading. Is it charity fraud in the strictest definitions of the law? I think that's an argument you can have, that it may or may not be. If you, and I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm going to quote Asmongold because I actually watched I don't watch Asmon all that much, but I watched his take on Completionist Reply too. So I'm going to quote him here. If you asked 100 people out on the street, hey, if somebody was raising money for charity, telling you it was going here, and they didn't actually put the money there, they just kept it in a bank account for 6 years, is that charity fraud? A large percentage of those 100 are probably going to say yes, even though that may not strictly legally be the case.
Right.
It's certainly a bad look. I would never, and this is the unfortunate side effect, right? I've never been a fan of the Completionist. Not that I don't like him, just like I don't watch him.
Sure.
He's not I've seen one or two videos, not my cup of tea as far as the presentation. But just like, hey, I'm not a huge Beatles fan and I can recognize what they've done for music. He's done some great things for the indie game scene, and I will never take that away from him. And gaming in general. Just because I maybe don't watch his YouTube videos because they don't interest me personally, he's done a lot. But I would never donate to any charity that had any affiliation with him anymore.
Yeah,
and that's a problem. That's a problem.
Because he was on the board of directors for the Open Hand Foundation as well. And the problem with that is, and I not that I'm sticking up for him here, but I genuinely don't think he actually did anything on the board. I think his family was just made to be board members because they founded it, right? And then he let his family deal with it while he's off doing his YouTube channel and he's got his head down and he's doing his own thing. And it got overlooked. And yes, his name is on it. Yes, he's responsible for it. Just because you didn't do anything with it doesn't make you unresponsible for it. Yeah. Was it his fault? Probably not.
Yeah. And it's very one of those, like, don't ascribe to malice what could easily be ascribed to stupidity, right?
Right.
Or just incompetence. I'm with you. I don't think he was like him and his family or any of them. I don't think they were stealing the money or planning to steal the money and do something with it. Is there an audit in order? Probably. You know, there probably is an audit in order, both on the golf side of things and on the open hand side of things and on the indie land side of things. Yes, there's probably an audit in order. legally speaking, did you break a law? Maybe. And an audit will find that out very quickly. But from an ethically, like a personal morality thing, I don't like how it was all presented as past tense. That feels grimy to me, even if it wasn't a planned action. It certainly feels grimy in retrospect, looking back on it. And at best, the incompetence makes me say, I'm never going to give money again. And I think he knows that, right? Like he said, Yod, that Indie Land is not going to have a charitable component to it anymore. It's just going to be raising awareness for indie games.
Yeah. I mean, once you break that trust, it's a little harder to build that back up.
Yep.
Even if legally you haven't done anything wrong, that public trust is really a lot more fragile.
Let's do some. Technically, it's games of the year now. This is the end of the year. It's our last episode. Happy holidays and happy new year again to all of you. Thank you so much for hanging out this year. Thumbs up, like, subscribe, all that stuff to feed the algorithm. If you like what we do, tell a friend. But we're going to end it the same way we end every episode, where we give you a game, something we've played recently or playing now or have never played and think you should play or check out. And you let us know who gave the best recommendation in the comments. Now, it can be a mobile game, a board game, a video game. Doesn't matter. Any game you want. And you know what, gents? Let's have you give like your game of the year recommendation here, right here. Not who should win game of the year, but like this is it. If you had to play one game this year, it needs to be this one. Yod, you're up.
Oh boy.
Oh geez, really? Just like that.
We've changed the definition of what we had prepared.
Just like that.
You're on the spot.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Oh.
All right, here we'll go to the happy holidays slide while you think. Tom, do you got one?
So the game I was going to go with was going to be Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2, the VR title. I've heard great things about it already. I've never played a VR game in my life because of motion sickness. I'm looking very forward to it, especially coming off the tail end of the movie and stuff like that. I don't know if I would call it my game of the year, though, but it is a game I've been looking forward to for the back half of the year. I'm a more recent person into the franchise. I didn't actually start playing until a year ago, like to the day, like to the month, I should say. I played my first game last December. So I'm excited for this. But I will say I also got into Hades pretty recently and went into like full completion mode on that. And I've been going nuts playing a lot of Hades. So if I had to give like one that I've actually played, it would be Hades. One that I've been anticipating would be Help Wanted 2.
I'm going a little older. Beat Saber. Hell yeah.
Ooh.
Go ahead, Yod.
Okay, so yeah, since you totally changed on us, I had this game I just got.
It's Steam Up, the game of the year. Right here from Yod. He hasn't even played it yet. Have you played it yet?
No, haven't even opened it yet. But my cousins told me it was fun, so I picked it up at Barnes & Nobles. But anyways, for something, I too will go a little older, not as old as you went, but if it was a game that I had to play all year long and just that one game, Power Wash Simulator.
Ooh. I can't really argue that. It's pretty cathartic.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to do it for us here for 2023. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Until next year, Yod, where can everybody find you?
Yod Artworks on all the social medias and otakudomecomic.com, where my weekly slow ass is putting out a page a week.
Dom.
Oh, it's Christmas. Monster and cookies.
That's one screwed up Santa.
You can find me down below at Itzista.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me right there. Oh, man, my slide wasn't fixed. Right there. But more importantly, follow at RC Radio. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Stay safe. We'll see you on the servers. Later.